Good morning. I posted the last video that Morgellons is real, and it's been a few days. I decided I'd post a little bit about how I'm treating this or dealing with it, because as we all know, doctors don't really recognize this at this time. I believe they will soon, but they don't now. My name is Ken. That's what I go by. My I I'm a 55-year-old. I'm disabled female. Uh, I uh, live on Section 8. I'm on Social Security disability. I'm broke as hell. It's very difficult to afford to treat yourself in those conditions. However, I am lucky in that I live alone. I do have a cat, but I don't have an entire family to deal with. So the advice I'm giving you, you may or may not be able to use depending on your particular situation and your situation. Morgellons is kind of a syndrome that can vary from person to person depending on what particular parasites that you have picked up along the route of your life, and that's going to be different from mine. So if you are recognizing things that I'm not picking up on, please comment below. If I talk about something you know about, well, you've already figured it out. I may well do that. I may, don't want to bore you or anything. I don't know how to make videos. I'm just kind of winging it here. So at least that's my bed. The light next to it is a UV light. It will cycle on a UV cycle. It kills pathogens. Those little things are worth their weight in gold if you have Morgellons. If you can get any kind of UV light, you do have to be cautious with it. It can cause damage to your skin and stuff like that. It is UV. But there's a lot of good disinfecting lights out there. I would encourage you to investigate those. As you can see, that one is sitting underneath my clothing. It's probably not going to cycle on because I'm sitting here. It'll only do it if I'm far enough away. But it will cycle on through its cleaning phase and basically zap my clothing and my bed with a dose of UV light. And it just kind of sits there and runs all day. I clean all day. That's literally what you have to do when you have Morgellons. Oh, the bathroom sanitizer is working. I have another one of these in here, and as you can see, as I walk into the bathroom, it's going to stop. It's going to sense motion and turn back into a regular light. But it also, what it does is it runs for like 5 minutes every half hour or so. It'll start blinking before it does it. Again, worth their weight in gold. One of the things you have to do with Morgellons is get rid of all the dust, and that includes the dust and microbes in the air. And so that's what those lights actually do. They're good at that. This is also a really good investment. This is a small camp washer. You do not want to use public laundromats if you can get away with it. You also never ever use a public dryer, because that is one of the vectors, I believe, that is spreading Morgellons from person to person and family to family is the use of public dryers in the laundromat. So what is best is to hang your clothes and everything else in the sun to dry directly, or directly under a UV light to dry. And whenever or wherever you can get your materials or clothing exposed to UV, it will help. Yes, it will fade them, but who cares? We know what we're dealing with. We would rather have faded clothes than other stuff. What's on the floor here is diatomaceous earth. This helps a lot, especially with the foot problem. You can see what's going on with my feet. This is a brand new pair of socks. You can buy bulk socks at Amazon. The goal is, if you can afford to do this, is to only wear a pair of socks once. And you wear it for 24 hours and you throw it out. I take a good long hot shower and every night before I go to bed to keep my bed as clean as possible. And put on a fresh pair of socks. I also put on a pair at night when I'm sleeping. This doesn't work during the day because they won't stay on my feet. At night when I'm sleeping, I put on, here's my supplies here, supply closet. I have plastic booty socks. And then again, you get these on Amazon. They're fairly cheap. They're like those little spa socks that you put, when you put fancy smelly stuff on your feet. Well, what I do is I put neem, this is raw neem butter, and after scrubbing my feet, and I don't actually scrub them as much as I used to, because I found that actually can spread it if you're not careful how you do it. So you want to limit how much you touch your feet. And so this is a plastic spa sock thing. I put neem butter, cover it with this, and put a sock on it. In the morning when I wake up, I remove the plastic and just put the sock on my foot. And I am noticing an improvement. See, there's a Morgellon ball trying to get into my sock. Fucker. And you have to be super picky about cleaning. You have to, your house has got to become a clinic in a way, because you don't have access to the medical system. So you have to turn your house, or at least a space in your house, into a clinic for you to do this. And it looks a little messy, but it's actually mopped all the time, every day. I mop it with Pine Sol. Pine Sol is also a very effective cleaner with Morgellons. I would drop it in your laundry. It helps a lot. The soaps I'm using are called the Chandraka line of soaps. It's a US-based company. There's a couple of different kinds. There's this, but it looks like this. Neem and turmeric, for me anyway, are kind of like my go-to herbs, at least for my skin. It does a lot. To help, and it's fairly inexpensive too. I mean, and you get it at the grocery store. It's fairly common. You don't have to necessarily get it off Amazon, although that's where I get it, because I'm like an Amazon whore. It's just me. Anyway, I also take neem leaf. I don't know if this is helping or not at this point, because I just started it. Again, the white dust is not lousy housekeeping. The white dust is diatomaceous earth, which I also use quite a bit. This is diatomaceous earth is a totally non-toxic substance. It is crushed seashells. That's what it is. And it looks messy, but it's actually quite deadly to all bugs. You can put it in. You can safely put it in your bed. You can put it in your pets' beds. You can put it in your kids' beds. You can put it in your food. As it says, get the food grade. And you can sprinkle it in your food. It will naturally deworm your pets. If you put about a quarter cup to about 6 pounds of food, it will automatically keep your pets free of worms and fleas and ticks and all of that stuff, which is helping to drive your problem. And you may well be passing critters back and forth between you and your pet. So, you have to make sure you're doing your pet too. If you have families, the whole family has to go get along with this program. It's not something that you can do on your own. You have to drag everybody along with you. So there is a line of health advice and care that comes from Indian doctors called Ayurveda. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but it basically means the science of life. They do a lot of special dietary advice and medical advice. The spices and stuff that I'm using a lot of it is Ayurvedic. This is wonderful stuff. This literally will drive all pests and stuff out of your mouth. And the mouth is actually a really important part, I believe, of Morgellons, because I think that's where the main pathogen is coming from. So you may hate what I'm going to tell you next, but the two things you need to do all the time is wear a mask, even when you're in your house, even when you're alone, because there's a relationship between your mouth and some other part of your body, the affected part, in my case, my feet and my hands. and Morgellons. So what you have to do in order to beat Morgellons is figure out those relationships, which critters or which parts of your body are related to the other part of the body. They're working together. So you have to interrupt those relationships. So with me, what I'm doing is I'm keeping my feet covered and I'm keeping my covered because there's a relationship between those two parts of my body. So I'm going to separate them in order to stop that. And I have noticed a definite difference. Wearing a mask keeps your clothes cleaner because you're not exhaling the seeds that are planting Morgellons, if that makes any sense. It does build up inside your mask, so you may want to use paper ones. Do not use the reusable ones because you can't wash it out. We know this. Just use paper ones. Be careful about how you throw them out. Treat them like hazardous waste because they are. The same thing with your socks. And you may also want to cover your hands. You may want to plug your ears. If you discover relationships there, look for relationships between the two parts of your body or more. There may be more than two, but two parts of your body that are kind of working together, and you're passing it back and forth either through your hands or something else, because parasites have life stages. So they spend a part of their life in one stage in one part of your body, and then they spend a part of their life in another stage in another part of your body or your house. So, they'll live in your bed for a little while, maybe while they're young, and then when they hit breeding age, they'll move into your feet. So, I don't know if that's how it works. I'm totally making that up, but that's kind of how parasites work. They have life stages. Oh yeah, do not drink tap water. Get bottled water. I don't care where you live. It's all bad, especially if you're in the United States. Yeah, so that's kind of the main thing. And one more piece of advice. If you smoke, either cigarettes or pot or whatever, you either need to get really persnickety about how you do it, or quit, because quitting is the best strategy. There's a relationship between the cigarette and your finger and your mouth, and I am coming from the perspective of an ex-smoker. I smoked for 30 years, 50 now. I smoked most of my life. I quit 2 years ago using a hypnotherapy video I found on YouTube. Fantastic. Hypnotherapy just happens to work with me really well. Other people use patches. I actually don't. Patches didn't work on me, but hypnotherapy did. But anyway, however you got to do, either quit smoking, or find a way to do it where you're not, where you're going to break that relationship between your fingers and your mouth and that cigarette butt. And of course, never ever pick up a used cigarette or a cigarette you find on the ground. So yeah, bulk socks on Amazon. Also, I'm going to try something else. I'll post a video about that too. You can also get, basically all your supplies for dealing with this. Oh, another important thing. Very important thing. These are spa towels. They are disposable towels. They're not that big. So, let me take one out and show you. I do keep them wrapped in plastic, but kind of like everything else, you want as much stuff to be disposable and hopefully compostable as you can be. As you can see, it's not very big, but you can dry off with it. It's just big enough to wrap around your hair. For the ladies, if you got long hair, or gentlemen, if you have long hair, you want to wrap it up for a little while. Again, it's breaking that relationship between whatever's going on in your head with anything else that it has a relationship with. So consider wearing a shower cap to bed as well. That could help. Again, disposing of it every morning. Yeah. So this is my little home treatment program for Morgellons syndrome. So yeah, good luck. And if you have any other tips and tricks, please post them in the comments, even if it's not something that I'm dealing with. somebody else may be dealing with, and it could help them out a lot. All right. Thanks, and have a good day. Bye.